Good morning, everybody. I'm
Good afternoon.
Oh, yes.
Allez, on commence.
Good afternoon.
On commence.
My name is Gaëtan. I'm a trainee air traffic controller in Aix-en-Provence ACC, and I am also a rookie private pilot. So, as an air traffic controller and a pilot, I feel really concerned of the way pilots and controllers understand each other. But every day, pilots and controllers work together for the frequency. They have to talk together, to negotiate together, and they need to cooperate. But sometimes they really don't understand each other. So the pilots and controllers have to get to know each other to understand what the other what they want on the other side of the frequency. So I first talk about the controller's side, and then after what the pilots, how the pilots are aware of the air traffic control. So on the controller's side, the air traffic control is a service provided to the aircraft. As a service, it has to be safe and efficient. But for that, to be efficient, the controllers really have to be aware of what the different facets of the pilot's job are. For example, they need to know about the aircraft performances and limitations, flight management, or the workload in the cockpit. That's why at the ENAC we have quite complete training about the pilot conditions. For example, we have courses about the aircraft use techniques, meteorology, engine use, or we also have simulation about the Airbus 320 flight management computers to understand the workload in the cockpit. After one year at the at the ENAC, we also given a pilot training at the CEFA, that is a state flying school. We are given 45 flight hours flying TB10s, as you can see on the picture, with Luc piloting and Aurélien on the back seat. And after these 45 flight hours, those who have a good progression can take the private pilot license test. For the controllers who pass the test, we are given every year subsidized to keep on flying and to maintain our license. This pilot training is made to understand the workload in the cockpit and what the world looks like from above and not on the radar screen. However, despite all this training, when you ask a pilot what he thinks about the ATC, the air traffic control, there are some recurrent critics. For example, the pilots, they are not always allowed to climb to their optimum flight level. They can't have the most direct route. I do copy past. They can't make continuous descent approaches, so they burn more fuel. They also feel sometimes that they are asked for inadequate performances for the aircraft. For example, sometimes you can ask for a speed that is too fast for this specific aircraft. So sometimes the pilots think that the controller doesn't know anything about planes. So yes, the pilots would like to have the highest level possible, the shortest route. They would, but the pilots often don't understand and are not aware at all about the air traffic control restrictions because of our sectors, because of the coordinations we have to do, because of the design of the routes. We can't do whatever we want. So they have to be aware of that. So that's why I try to see what training they receive. At the ENAC, we have the EPL training, that is training for airline pilots. Because they are at the ENAC, they are really close to air traffic controllers. And for example, their air traffic regulation courses are taught by air traffic controllers. They also have one area control center on route simulation at the in the ENAC simulators to see what a radar screen looks like. And they visit the control tower and approach center of Toulouse-Blagnac usually. But many other pilot trainings don't include such training and such proximity to the ATC. That's why many pilots just rely on their job experience to be aware of the air traffic control. But the best way to educate both sides is to get together, I think. For example, in our initial training at the ENAC, we have an airline internship for air traffic controllers that is often observation flights. For example, in Aix-en-Provence, we do 1 week at Ryanair, and during which we do 4 round flights in the cockpit, during which we can talk with the pilots. We can ask questions, and we can also explain the pilots, for example, about some restrictions they have on their route, why they are made that way. There are also local initiatives like the FATCOA's Pilot Controllers Forum. The FATCOA is the French Air Traffic Controller Association, and every year they organize a forum in which controllers and pilots representatives meet and discuss about their concerns and give feedback. So, for example, the pilot representatives will usually tell the controllers about their company fuel policy, for example, or economy policy, to understand why, for example, we can see 2 aircraft being managed differently by 2 companies. To conclude, I did 13 minutes last week. To conclude, I'd like to point out that the initial training that we receive at ENAC is quite efficient because it's quite complete, but it's not sufficient because we don't have this job experience that we get after in our job, and we are often just overwhelmed by all the knowledge we are taught. So sometimes, for example, the engine use courses can be really boring. So that's why I think the direct exchanges between pilots and controllers are the most interesting and efficient ways to teach and to learn for both sides. And they should be democratized. So organize meetings or facilitate the observation flights for air traffic controllers would be a good way to improve the service. So thank you. I have plenty of time, so you can ask as many questions as you want.
I have just one remark. You're chewing gum.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Do you think the training EPL trainees receive at the ENAC is enough compared to what ATC trainees?
No, but we provide the airlines with a service, and the airlines are just they don't provide us with a service. So we have to be more aware of